Hello, this is second video about MultiPCBProject Script. In this video I just want to clarify a few things. First, although I have shown this script using a hierarchical design like this script can also be used in flat design, and in this case also if you have entire design in one schematic document. You just need to point blankets to a different PCB documents, and the different PCB documents will be updated with the appropriate circuit that is underneath the blankets. Second, if you have a panel PCB document in your project, you want this panel to be ignored for updates. In this case, just make PCB document name end with the word panel. So in this case, PCB4 panel will be disregarded on update because its name ends with panel. And the third thing, I want to show you how you can set up the connectors that interconnect PCB documents and have automatic pin swapping from one PCB document automatically update to another PCB document. Let's take a look at this example. Over here I have one blanket that is pointing to PCB document PCB1, and over here I have a second blanket that is pointing to PCB2. On both these PCB documents I have a net CON1, CON2 and CON3, and using these two connectors and the cable between them, I want to transfer this net from one PCB document to another one. I also have set up hard wires to connect pin 3 on one connector with pin 3 on the second connector, also pin 2 to pin 2 and pin 1 to pin 1. And by setting up hard wires like this, if I switch net labels on any of these two nets, they will be automatically swapped on first and second connector. So by setting up the environment like this, you can have automated pin swapping. So if you do a pin swapping on one PCB document, it will be automatically propagated to another PCB document. However, there is one minor drawback in this case. So for instance, over here I have P12 and over here I have a P22, and you can see that pin 1 is on connector 1, pins 2 are on CON2 and pins 3 are on CON3 net. If from this PCB document, if I execute tools interactive pin net swapping, he will not allow me to do a pin swapping. This is because Altium knows that first of all, inside my project options, I have disabled changing schematic pins, so he will not switch schematic pins on pin swapping. And on the schematic, he knows that he has a hard wire connecting two pins, and he knows that he cannot do pin swapping on this because by switching these net labels, he would also change the net name on another component, and this is not a pin swapping anymore. So in order to avoid this, there are two ways in which you can avoid this. You can execute PCB pin swapping command to do a pin swapping from the PCB side. By executing this, Altium will first place a compile mask. So you see over here he placed a compile mask, and Altium does not see a second connector anymore. He just sees the first one, and right now I can do a pin swapping on this connector. Second part, of course, after you stop executing the pin swapping, he will automatically remove all the compile mask. Second part, you can execute from the PCB mask this PCB. So by executing this, he will place a mask over all the blankets that don't point to a second PCB document, but in this case, after he placed a mask, you can execute Altium's built-in pin swap interactive pin net swapping function. So by executing this one, if you execute this function, so if you use this PCB mask, this PCB function, you you will be able to use Altium's built-in function. Without executing this procedure, you would have to replace Altium's built-in pin swapping command if you want to do a pin swapping. And also, after you are done, you can just execute unmask all function, and this one will remove all the compile masks. So right now I have done a pin swapping on this PCB, and I want to update this to a schematic and to a second PCB document. You can do this by simply executing update schematic and other PCBs. So by executing this function, he will first update schematic, and after that he will update all other PCB documents, and you can see how will it go. So first what he does is he is placing a compile mask over all blankets that point to another PCB document, and then he is doing schematic update, so update to schematics. And right now he will switch this net labels, and you can see how net labels have been switched. And after that he will do an update to another PCB document. So right now you can see con3 is on pin 3, con2 is on pin 2, con1 is on pin 1. If I execute these changes and I click close, you see right now con1 is on pin 2 and con2 is on pin 1. So this is a way in which you can automatically update pin swapping information from one PCB document to another PCB document. The same procedure would work if you have harness connectors. So if you have one big cable on one PCB document and few smaller ones that point one to one PCB document, second one to second, you will just have to do a little smarter pin swapping setup on this component. Okay, so if you do run script over here inside the MultiPCB project, you have a lot of functions. In the first video, I explained component links, update schematic, and import changes from schematic. Mask this PCB, pin swapping, and update schematic have been explained right now. Unmask all also. The only function I didn't explain yet is schematic mask PCB. So by executing this function, it can be executed only from the schematic, and you can choose which PCB document you want to mask. So right now I will set PCB2 to mask, and he will place a compile mask over all blankets that don't point to PCB2. And right now, after you compile, he will also do a compile, and after you compile, you can use a navigator panel to search through all the nets and everything that is under only the PCB2 PCB document. And also you can execute this unmask all function from the schematic and from the PCB. This is all. I hope you can find this useful. Thank you for watching. Bye.